Why is the Obama administration always apologizing to other countries who absolutely hate us? Why do we endlessly apologize for our belief system, what we stand for, who we are, and what we do? Exhibit A. An Indian national, a deputy consul general, is the subject of a United States Department of Justice civil rights investigation, along with the State Department. The diplomat is charged with evading United States laws designed to prevent the exploitation of domestic employees after she tried to pay her housekeeper thousands less than was required. She is arrested, given several hours to make phone calls, offered food, and then taken to jail, where she is fully searched in a private setting by a female U.S. Marshal. The government of India goes ballistic, stating that they are shocked and appalled at the despicable and barbaric treatment of their national by the United States federal government. John Kerry, Secretary of State, that great American, you remember him from Vietnam, rushes to throw all of us, including his own State Department, under the bus, apologizing, lamenting, and regretting the actions of the United States, while the government of India retaliates by removing security barriers surrounding our embassy compound. A little primer here, John. Everyone, young or old, rich or poor, black or white, citizen or non-citizen, is fully searched before he or she is jailed. It is standard operating procedure. The reason? So they cannot hide something that will allow them to harm themselves or others. Instead of standing up to the government of India, to whom we sent almost $100 million this year, John Kerry offers his mea culpa. As the father of two daughters the same age, I empathize with the sensitivities we're hearing from India about the events that unfolded after her arrest. Really? What unfolded after her arrest was standard operating procedure. In America, no one is above the law and no one is below it. There is no caste system in the United States. And instead of standing up for the rule of law, the American system of justice, the downtrodden and the victims, and the United States Constitution, John Kerry folded, just as his boss did right after our ambassador and 3 Americans were killed, by apologizing to other nations who hate us and burn us in effigy. And if anyone out there has any doubts about how this diplomat was treated, a little factoid for you. The United States attorney who approved the charges of alleged slavery against this Indian diplomat was himself born in India. I suspect that no one is more sensitive to the rights of Indian nationals. John Kerry needs to remember who he represents and the oath that he took to defend the American way. Shame on him. And with me now, former United States Ambassador to the United Nations and Fox News contributor John Bolton. Good evening, Ambassador.
Glad to be with you, Jeanine.
All right. What do you think about all this apologizing?
Well, I think you're right on target. It's embarrassing to have the Secretary of State apologize. But, you know, Jean Kirkpatrick put her finger on this phenomenon almost 30 years ago now. She said there's a group of people, she called them the San Francisco Democrats, because that's where they had their convention in 1984. The San Francisco Democrats, she said, always blame America first. And that's what John Kerry did. Look, I've had experiences in my own career with foreign diplomats abusing their servants, and some were prosecuted, some were simply expelled. This is a charge that has a lot in back of it, and I think you were exactly right to say this Indian diplomat was not treated any differently than any other American citizen. If I had heard an allegation that she had been treated worse, then I'd be prepared to listen. But what she's really saying is, I don't want to be put in the same procedure with all these mere Americans. I'm a diplomat. And it just doesn't cut it.
And, you know, it's almost as though they were saying, Ambassador, you know, the Americans should look the other way. But when these diplomats come to the United States, 2 things come to mind. Number one, they cannot ignore our laws. And number 2, Some of them think they can do whatever they want because they have diplomatic immunity, although I don't think that applies in this case, given the specific nature of the charges.
Yeah, well, her diplomatic immunity is a little bit different, and you see that's why India's now moved her to their UN mission, because they want to try and shield her with the broader immunity. But I think there's something even more serious here. Forget whether the charges are accurate. Let's assume they're not. I don't believe that, but let's assume the charges are not accurate. Let's assume she was maltreated. The worst part of this is that the government of India's response was to remove security barriers from around our embassy in New Delhi, thus putting our diplomats and their own citizens, the Foreign Service nationals who work in our embassy, putting their lives at risk. Even if you assume we did everything wrong, their reaction was really unacceptable. The apology we should get here is from the Foreign Minister of India.
Right, right. But, Ambassador, let me move on here. You recently wrote about President Obama fiddling in the White House like Nero while national security burned. How bad is it? And tonight, even in, I believe, in the Sudan, there's a lot going on around the world.
Yeah, look, this president simply doesn't consider American national security important. It's not high on his list of priorities. He's trying to fundamentally transform the country. It's what he said expressly in the 2008 election. And he confronts foreign affairs only when he has to or where he can get political credit. We're going to suffer from that. We already are suffering. Look at Iran's continuing nuclear weapons program, terrorism on the rise around the world, Ukraine slipping back under the control of Moscow, the Chinese making belligerent claims in the East and South China Sea. The president pays no attention. His Secretary of State is busy worrying about Israel building apartment buildings in East Jerusalem. We're in decline because of this president's policies, not because of the fundamentals of the country itself. It's going to take a while to turn that around.
And you know what, when you think about it, Ambassador, when he first came into office, the president got the Nobel Peace Prize and everybody thought he was so great. And he apologized for America when he went to Egypt. Now I think the rest of the world is seeing the veil kind of a little different than they thought. Ambassador Bolton, thank you so much for being with us this evening.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. And coming up, another last-minute